teacher feature, and we welcome from Northwest Middle School teacher Rob Ziegler. Hey, Rob.
How you doing, Bart?
I'm good. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Welcome. Nice to be able to recognize a dedicated teacher of Northwest Schools. How long have you been teaching?
Well, I've been teaching since 1986, so this is my 36th year in the public schools.
36 years,
Yep.
Quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. Then I had 5.5 years where I taught 10 years in Indiana, left teaching in Indiana to work in industry as an industrial trainer. And after 5.5 years of working at a company in LaPorte, Indiana, New York Blower Company, I was called 2 days after the World Trade Center was hit by Eric Berg, and came here, and I've been here ever since then.
Eric Berg was the principal at Northwest High School for several years.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting how you associate that tragedy with a rebirth in your career.
Oh, it definitely was. I'd been in industry for 5.5 years, and I could see that it was a job that I really wasn't enjoying. And when I got the phone call, I didn't even know this job even existed. It was pretty exciting. Eric actually set up a Saturday interview, that's unheard of in education. And I came in and interviewed with Eric and Jeremy Davies, if you remember him.
I do,
coached
yeah.
basketball. Then a few days later, I met with Denny Damaris, and he actually let my wife sit in on the interview. And he said, as long as she doesn't negotiate, then we'll be good, you know. And he hired me that day, and it was really exciting because you know, I came in and it was just a whole new world for me to start in where they were wanting a metal shop teacher, and that was really exciting for me to start out. And we had a lot of backing back then, and we have even more now. So it's just been a really enjoyable teaching
job. Really, for someone in teaching advanced manufacturing, first of all, to have that in middle school is unbelievable, and the kinds of things that you're doing. When I took metal shop in middle school, we made ashtrays. That was our project, I think, for the whole semester. Today, it's no more ashtrays. No.
I have 2 grade level projects. The 7th graders and 8th graders, we start out with drafting, basically board drafting, and then teaching the fundamentals of measurement and understanding how to read the drawing. And then we progress into working with the machines, where we're doing a hands-on project with lathe work. They make a handle for the hammer. Then with mill work, where they're making the hammer head.
So you got a wood shop in there too?
No, it's all metal working.
Metal work?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I think we've got some pictures that you sent along.
So this first scene here is, those are milling machines, but they're actually a mill drill, so we can use them for drilling and milling. That's where they'll make their hammer heads.
These are actually in the middle school?
They are, yes. Yes, right there. And then that's where you can see just how overweight I am. And right now, right there, we're putting together a cabinet for one of the teachers. A lot of times teachers will purchase cabinets and shelving, and I put my kids to work to putting those together. And then we take them down to the teacher. There's some lathes where we do lathe work. Those are the smaller, first generation that I got when we had the donations. And then this last is the most recent lathes that we received. They're a larger style of the smaller ones that you saw. And the kids run them all. I show them how to use them, and then they get on them and get going.
So in middle school, kids in a Kidder, there's what, 6, 7, and 8?
We have 6th, 7th, and 8th in that building, and I just work with the 7th and 8th grade.
So at that level, they're thinking about what they want to do for a career.
Some of them are very ahead of the game in there, and you can tell that they're very serious about the hands-on skills.
Are there kids that until they take this class, they were going to do something completely different, and you've changed their direction?
I've seen that happen in the last, ever since I've been here at Northwest. I've seen kids that, you know, they might have stepped into the room and thought, I'm not going to do this, and then I'll run into them on the street. You know, they're in their 30s and they're working in industry. And some kids actually, you know, they really didn't know what they wanted in life. And we have, like, I don't know if you know the Knightsky family, but Sue Knightsky was a school bus driver for Northwest. She has her son Brandon started welding in my class, and now he has probably the highest civilian clearance to work on military vessels as a welder. Nuclear powered submarines he can actually work on.
And it all started in your classroom?
It did start in my room, and
now,
very exciting.
To have this program be a success, you can't just do it right there by yourself. You've got a lot of partners, including manufacturers that
absolutely
they recognize that you are training their future employees.
That's right. We had the program running in the high school. I was in the high school for 9 years, and due to the budget cuts in the state, there were a lot of budget cuts. My program was closed, and they moved me to Kidder Middle School. Now, I taught computers there, and after 5 years, Dan Brooks, my principal, said, "Rob, you're teaching manufacturing next year." I go, "Oh, I am." I was excited, and we had at that juncture, we had 11 corporations and then 2 foundations that contributed to the money that went into funding all this equipment that we put in that room. And then since then, we've had Technique has really put a lot into my program, multiple donations. We have people, Ronnie John Cox, the owner, has written many checks for our program. Laura Wright is his right-hand lady, and then Flav Stump, his right-hand man. They're always communicating with me, and if I say, hey, you know, I need some more computers, I need some more lathes. Just recently they bought me equipment to set up my welding area. And last year I started welding, for example, and we had 9 welders. And I've never had 9 welders ever before. It's like wow, and they were all welding very well.
In middle school?
Yes, in middle school.
Now welders, once they can, after high school, they can get like $70,000, $80,000 a year jobs right out of high school.
That's right, that's right. They could walk right out of high school into a job, no college, just straight into a job. That's actually what Brandon Knightsky did. He went right out of the high school into a job here in Jackson. And I don't know who, you know, whether it was his boss that contacted Norfolk and said, hey, I've got this kid that's on fire here. But somehow, some way, he linked up with the United States military, where they're building these ships and everything, and they sent him over there and doing very well.
What do the parents of your students think about their kids welding and running lathes and all the machinery, and what do they say to you?
Well, they love it. They love it because you know, some of their kids, I get the kids that sometimes they're not excited about school, but they come into my classroom and they come to school because of my class. They want to be there because I want to be in that class. So they'll show up for school just so they can get that hands-on. And that means a lot, you know, to me. It makes me feel pretty good that I'm touching them in that way. Their parents can see it, the changes in them. And, you know, it's when they walk up to you, like I said, on the street and say something to you about it, it's just like, it just makes all the difference in the world, you know, which will be really hard for me because after next year, I am planning on retiring after the next school year. And that's going to be really difficult for me because I want to make sure that whoever takes over from me will carry the torch and put as much into it as, you know, as the program deserves. You know?
Well, it sounds like there is a lot of community investment in the success of the program.
There is. And it's you know, the thing, you say that, when I was in Indiana, I remember my first teaching job where I shared $1,000 between the department head and myself, and we had 12 classes to split that $1,000 amongst. When I come here, we get donations from people to, like, I get metal from Technique for welding. Alro Metals has been very generous in cutting their prices to when I buy metal from them. And when I say, hey, I need, when I contact Carrie Brzezinski, her office, I say, hey, Deanna Stover is like her right-hand lady. I say, hey, I need some money to buy some welding wire or some metal. They've always provided for me, and it just really makes it so much easier to teach my program when I know that the supplies is always going to be there.
Sounds from your story about having former students come up to you on the street, where they're thankful for the direction and education you gave them. That's got to be the most rewarding thing about your job.
It is. It is. It makes all the difference in the world, because you just think, oh, I actually touched that person, and you may not even have known that you did until, like I said, later, which is great.
Now, your work in Indiana, you're actually working, is this where you picked up all the skills to teach?
I did. My industrial arts experience started in 1974 when I was a 7th grader. Bill Lynch was our industrial arts teacher. I was really into his program. But what really set me on fire was my metal shop teacher, my wrestling coach, my PE teacher, Don Kane, who ran every morning before school started, built homes. He built my mom and dad's addition onto their house in their garage. And I thought, I want to live like him. He's cool. And I thought, I want to do just like him. And I decided my freshman year in high school I was going to be an industrial arts teacher.
Well, Jeff Bontrager has a little over a year to talk you out of retiring.
yeah. Well, I might hang in there longer. I don't know. I've been at it, like I said, 36 years, and then add that other 5.5 years. Well, I can't say 36. Yeah, 36 years. I've been doing some form of education. 10 in Indiana, 22 here in Michigan, and then the 5.5. That doesn't even add up, does it?
No, and you're 5 years younger than I am, so you should not be anywhere near thinking about retirement.
No, I'll be 64 next October.
Okay, you're 3 years younger than me, but still, whether you retire or find someone of your caliber to take your place, I'm sure the district will be well served.
Well, I did tell Dan. I said I plan on coming back. And whoever gets it, I plan on helping in any way I can to get them acclimated so that they're ready to go. And we do have a couple people. We have actually, one person in mind that I won't say it because he's in the middle of a transition right now of working in the high school. And if he decides to stay there, then I wish all the luck to him. That he has up there. But we had one person in mind. And if he wants to stay in the high school, we'll let him stay there. Okay. And we'll figure something out. We have to Shanghai him or something, But
well, it's great to have you featured today on Northwest Schools Teacher Feature, and thanks for all you're doing for the district and the kids.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, nice to see you again. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Alrighty.
Teacher at Northwest Middle School in Advanced Manufacturing, Rob Ziegler.